Nevada, Enkvert, Enkuvadq, VAH 56. Spanish. Nibeta ADA is a landlocked state in the western United States. See, it borders Oregon to the northwest, Idaho to the northeast, California to the west, Arizona to the southeast, and Utah to the east. Nevada is the 7th most extensive, the 32nd most populous, and the 9th least densely populated U.S. state. Nearly 3/4 of Nevada's population live in Clark County, which contains the Las Vegas Paradise metropolitan area, 7 including 3 of the state's largest incorporated cities. 8. Nevada's capital is Carson City. Las Vegas is the largest city in the state. Nevada is officially known as the Silver State because of the importance of silver to its history and economy. It is also known as the Battle-Born State because it achieved statehood during the Civil War. The words battle-born also appear on its state flag due to the presidency of Abraham Lincoln. The Union benefited immensely from the support of newly awarded statehood by the infusion of the monetary support of nearly $400 million in silver or generated at the time by the Comstock Lode. 9. It is also known as the Sagebrush State for the native plant of the same name, and as the Sage Hen State. 10. The state's name means snowy in Spanish, referring to Nevada's small overlap with the Sierra Nevada mountain range. However, the rest of Nevada is largely desert and semi-arid, much of it within the Great Basin. Areas south of the Great Basin are within the Mojave Desert, while Lake Tahoe and the Sierra Nevada lie on the western edge. In 2020, 80.1% of the state's land was managed by various jurisdictions of the U.S. federal government, both civilian and military. 11 Native Americans of the Paiute, Shoshone, and Washoe tribes inhabit what is now Nevada. The first Europeans to explore the region were Spanish. They called the region Nevada Snowy because of the snow which covered the mountains in winter, similar to the Sierra Nevada in Spain. The area formed from mostly Alta California and part of Nuevo Mexico's territory within the Viceroyalty of New Spain, which gained independence as Mexico in 1821. The United States annexed the area in 1848 after its victory in the Mexican-American War, and it was incorporated as part of the New Mexico and Utah Territory in 1850. The discovery of silver at the Comstock Lode in 1859 led to a population boom that became an impetus to the creation of Nevada Territory out of western Utah Territory in 1861. Nevada became the 36th state on October 31, 1864, as the second of 2 states added to the Union during the Civil War, the first being West Virginia. 12. Nevada is known for its libertarian laws. In 1940, with a population of just over 110,000 people, Nevada was by far the least populated state, with less than half the population of the next least populous state, Wyoming. 13. However, legalized gambling and lenient marriage and divorce laws transformed Nevada into a major tourist destination in the 20th century. 1415. Nevada is the only U.S. state where prostitution is legal, though it is illegal in its most populated regions: Clark County, Las Vegas, Washoe County, Reno, and Carson City, which, as an independent city, is not within the boundaries of any county. The tourism industry remains Nevada's largest employer. 16. With mining continuing as a substantial sector of the economy, Nevada is the 4th largest producer of gold in the world. 17. It is the driest state. Droughts in Nevada, which are influenced by climate change, have been increasing in frequency and severity, 18, putting a further strain on Nevada's water security. Etymology: the name Nevada comes from the Spanish adjective Nevada Nibeta Ada, meaning snow-covered or snowy. 19. The state takes its name from the Nevada Territory, which in turn was named for the Sierra Nevada. 20. Nevadans pronounce the second syllable with the A of apple, Enkvert, while some people from outside of the state pronounce it with the A of palm, Enkvadk. 21. Although the quality, but not the length, of the latter pronunciation is closer to the Spanish pronunciation, Spanish A, is open central E, 22, whereas American English D varies from back E to central E, 23. It is not the pronunciation used by Nevadans. State Assemblyman Harry Mortensen proposed a bill to recognize the alternative pronunciation of Nevada, 24, though the bill was not supported by most legislators and never received a vote. The Nevadan pronunciation is the one used by the state legislature. At one time, the state's official tourism organization, Travel Nevada, stylized the name of the state as Nevada, with a brief over the indicating the locally preferred pronunciation. 25, which was also available as a license plate design until 2007. 26. History Maine article. History of Nevada. Further information. History of Las Vegas. Settlement of Las Vegas. Nevada was founded in 1905 before the opening of a railroad that linked Los Angeles and Salt Lake City. The stopover attracted some farmers, mostly from Utah, to the area, and fresh water was piped into the settlement. In 1911, the town was incorporated as part of the newly founded Clark County. Urbanization took off in 1931 when work started on the Boulder Dam, now the Hoover Dam, bringing a huge influx of young male workers for whom theaters and casinos were built, largely by the mafia. Electricity from the dam also enabled the building of many new hotels along the Strip. The arrival of Howard Hughes in 1966 did much to offset mob influence and helped turn Las Vegas into more of a family tourist center, now classified as a mega resort. The name Las Vegas, Spanish for the Meadows, was given to the area in 1829 by Rafael Rivera, a member of the Spanish explorer Antonio Armillo trading party that was traveling to Los Angeles and stopped for water there on the old Spanish Trail from New Mexico. At that time, several parts of the valley contained artesian wells surrounded by extensive green areas. The flows from the wells fed the Las Vegas Wash, which runs to the Colorado River. Indigenous history. B. For the arrival of Europeans, the earliest inhabitants were indigenous tribes including the Gashute, Southern Paiute, Mohave, and Wassisiwi Washoe people. 2728 before 1861 Maine articles, the Californias section history, and Alta California offer information, Treaty of Cordoba, Declaration of Independence of the Mexican Empire, First Mexican Empire, Provisional Government of Mexico, First Mexican Republic, Centralist Republic of Mexico, Seat Lies, and definitive treaty of peace and friendship between Mexico and Spain. Mexico in 1824. Alta California included today's Nevada. Francisco Garces was the first European in the area. 29. Nevada was annexed as a part of the Spanish Empire in the northwestern territory of New Spain. Administratively, the area of Nevada was part of the Commandancy General of the Provincias Internas in the Viceroyalty of New Spain. Nevada became a part of Alta California, Upper California province in 1804 when the Californias were split. With the Mexican War of Independence won in 1821, the province of Alta California became a territory state of Mexico with a small population. Jedediah Smith entered the Las Vegas Valley in 1827. Peter Skeen Ogden traveled the Humboldt River in 1828. And in 1829, a merchant from Nuevo Mexico named Antonio Armillo streamlined travel along the old Spanish Trail. Chronicling Armillo's route, his scout Rafael Rivera was the first to name Las Vegas in an 1830 report to Governor Jose Antonio Chaves. Following the suggestions by Rivera of a spring on the published expedition's map, located in the Las Vegas area, John C. Fremont set up camp in Las Vegas Springs in 1844. In 1847, Mormons established the state of Deseret, claiming all of Nevada within the Great Basin and the Colorado watershed. They built the first permanent settlement in what is now Nevada, called Mormon Station, now Genoa, in 1851. Additionally, in June 1855, William Bringhurst and 29 other Mormon missionaries built the first permanent structure a 150-foot square adobe fort northeast of downtown Las Vegas, converging on the Spanish and Mormon roads. The fort remained under Salt Lake City's control until the winter of 1858 to 1859, and the route remained largely under the control of Salt Lake City and Santa Fe tradespersons. As such, these pioneers laid the foundation for the emergence of the initial settlements between the Sierra Nevadas and Mojave Desert and within the Las Vegas Valley. The enduring influence of New Mexico and Utah culture has since profoundly impacted Nevada's identity, manifesting through New Mexican cuisine and Mormon foodways or New Mexican and Mormon folk musics into the fabric of Nevada's own cultural landscape. As a result of the Mexican-American War and the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, Mexico permanently lost Alta California in 1848. The new areas acquired by the United States continued to be administered as territories. As part of the Mexican Cession 1848 and the subsequent California Gold Rush that used immigrant trails through the area, the state's area evolved first as part of the Utah Territory and New Mexico Territory, then the Nevada Territory, March 2, 1861, named for the Sierra Nevada 30 sculpture representing a steam locomotive. Early locomotives played an important part in Nevada's mining industry. The first discovery of a major U.S. deposit of silver ore occurred in Comstock Lode under Virginia City, Nevada, in 1859. Separation from Utah Territory. Main articles: Utah Territory, Organic Act section, list of organic acts, Nevada Territory, and Nevada in the American Civil War. Nevada Territory in 1861 on March 2, 1861. The Nevada Territory separated from the Utah Territory and adopted its current name, shortened from the Sierra Nevada, Spanish for snow-covered mountain range. The 1861 southern boundary is commemorated by Nevada historical markers 57 and 58 in Lincoln and Nye counties. Statehood, map of the states of California and Nevada by S.B. Linton. 1876, 8 days before the presidential election of 1864, Nevada became the 36th state in the Union, despite lacking the minimum 60,000 residents that Congress typically required a potential state to have in order to become a state. 31. At the time, Nevada's population was little more than 40,000. 32. Governor Nye was frustrated that previous attempts to send the Constitution via overland mail and by sea had failed by October 24th. So on October 26th, the full text was sent by telegraph at a cost of $4,303.27, 33D, the most costly telegraph on file at the time for a single dispatch, equivalent to $86,514.04 in 2024. Finally, the response from Washington came on October 31st, 1864. The pain is over. The child is born. Nevada this day was admitted into the Union. Statehood was rushed to the date of October 31st to help ensure Abraham Lincoln's re-election on November 8th and post-Civil War Republican dominance in Congress. 30 for as Nevada's mining-based economy tied it to the more industrialized Union. As it turned out, however, Lincoln and the Republicans won the election handily and did not need Nevada's help. Nevada is one of only 2 states to significantly expand its borders after admission to the Union, with the other being Missouri, which acquired additional territory in 1837 due to the Platte Purchase. In 1866, another part of the western Utah Territory was added to Nevada in the eastern part of the state, setting the current eastern boundary. Nevada achieved its current southern boundaries on January 18, 1867, when it absorbed the portion of Paiute County in the Arizona Territory west of the Colorado River, essentially all of present-day Nevada south of the 37th parallel. The transfer was prompted by the discovery of gold in the area, and officials thought Nevada would be better able to oversee the expected population boom. This area includes all of what is now Clark County and the southernmost portions of Esmeralda, Lincoln, and Nye County's 35 bottle house in the mining ghost town of Rhyolite. Built in 1906, with about 50,000 bottles, 36 mining shaped Nevada's economy for many years. See silver mining in Nevada. When Mark Twain lived in Nevada during the period described in Roughing It, mining had led to an industry of speculation and immense wealth. Both mining and population temporarily declined in the late 19th century. However, the rich silver strike at Tonopah in 1900, followed by strikes in Goldfield and Rhyolite, created a second mining boom in Nevada and Nevada's population. Gambling and lab-regulated gambling was commonplace in the early Nevada mining towns, but was outlawed in 1909 as part of a nationwide anti-gambling crusade. Because of subsequent declines in mining output and the decline of the agricultural sector during the Great Depression, Nevada again legalized gambling on March 19, 1931. With approval from the legislature, Governor Fred B. Balzar's signature enacted the most liberal divorce laws in the country and open gambling. The reforms came just 8 days after the federal government presented the $49 million construction contract for Boulder Dam, now Hoover Dam. 37 nuclear testing Nevada test site, 65 miles 105 kilometers northwest of the city of Las Vegas, was founded on January 11, 1951, for the testing of nuclear weapons. The site consists of about 1,350 square miles, 3,500 square kilometers of the desert and mountainous terrain. Nuclear testing at the Nevada test site began with a 1 kiloton of TNT for .2TJ nuclear bomb dropped on Frenchman Flat on January 27, 1951. The last atmospheric test was conducted on July 17, 1962. And the underground testing of weapons continued until September 23, 1992. The location is known for having the highest concentration of nuclear detonated weapons in the U.S. Over 80% of the state's area is owned by the federal government. This is mainly because homesteads were not permitted in large enough sizes to be viable in the arid conditions that prevail throughout desert Nevada. Instead, early settlers would homestead land surrounding a water source and then graze livestock on the adjacent public land, which is useless for agriculture. Without access to water, this pattern of ranching still prevails. 2020 South. The COVID-19 pandemic was confirmed in Nevada on March 5, 2020. Because of concerns about coronavirus disease 2019, COVID-19, Nevada Governor Steve Sisolak declared a state of emergency on March 12, 2020. 4 days later, Nevada reported its first death. On March 17, 2020, Sisolak ordered the closure of non-essential businesses in the state to help prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Various protests were held against Sisolak's shutdown order beginning in April 2020. Nevada launched the first phase of its reopening on May 9, 2020. Restaurants, retailers, outdoor malls, and hair salons were among the businesses allowed to reopen, but with precautions in place, such as limiting occupancy to 50%. A second phase went into effect on May 29, 2020. It allowed for the reopening of state parks and businesses such as bars, gyms, and movie theaters. Casinos began reopening on June 4, 2020. Geographine Nevada is almost entirely within the Basin and Range province and is broken up by many north-south mountain ranges. Most of these ranges have endorheic valleys between them. Much of the northern part of the state is within the Great Basin, a mild desert that experiences hot temperatures in the summer and cold temperatures in the winter. Occasionally, moisture from the Arizona monsoon will cause summer thunderstorms. Pacific storms may blanket the area with snow. The state's highest recorded temperature was 125 degrees Fahrenheit, 52 Celsius, and Laughlin elevation of 605 feet or 184 meters on June 29, 1994. 38. The coldest recorded temperature was 52 degrees Fahrenheit, 47 C, set in San Jacinto in 1972, in the northeastern portion of the state. 38. The Humboldt River crosses the state from east to west across the northern part of the state, draining into the Humboldt Sink near Lovelock. Several rivers drain from the Sierra Nevada eastward, including the Walker, Truckee, and Carson rivers. All of these rivers are endorheic basins ending in Walker Lake, Pyramid Lake, and the Carson Sink, respectively. However, not all of Nevada is within the Great Basin. Tributaries of the Snake River drain the far north, while the Colorado River, which also forms much of the boundary with Arizona, drains much of southern Nevada. The mountain ranges, some of which have peaks above 13,000 feet per 1,000 meters, harbor lush forests high above desert plains, creating sky islands for endemic species. The valleys are often no lower in elevation than 3,000 feet 910 meters, while some in central Nevada are above 6,000 feet 1,800 meters. Little Finland Rock Formation in Nevada's southern third of the state, where the Las Vegas area is situated, is within the Mojave Desert. The area receives less rain in the winter, but is closer to the Arizona monsoon in the summer. The terrain is also lower, mostly below 4,000 feet 1,200 meters, creating conditions for hot summer days and cool to chilly winter nights. Nevada and California have by far the longest diagonal line in respect to the cardinal directions as a state boundary at just over 400 miles, 640 kilometers. This line begins in Lake Tahoe nearly for miles, 6.4 kilometers offshore in the direction of the boundary, and continues to the Colorado River where the Nevada, California, and Arizona boundaries merge 12 miles, 19 kilometers southwest of the Laughlin Bridge. The largest mountain range in the southern portion of the state is the Spring Mountain Range, just west of Las Vegas. The state's lowest point is along the Colorado River, south of Laughlin. Nevada has 172 mountain summits with 2,000 feet, 610 meters of prominence. Nevada ranks second, after Alaska, for the greatest number of mountains in the United States, followed by California, Montana, and Washington. 39. Climate. Further information. Climate change in Nevada and climate types of Nevada using 1991 to 2020 climate normals. Nevada is the driest state in the United States. 40. It is made up of mostly desert and semi-arid climate regions, and, with the exception of the Las Vegas Valley, the average summer diurnal temperature range approaches 40 F20 Celsius in much of the state. While winters in northern Nevada are long and fairly cold, the winter season in the southern part of the state tends to be of short duration and mild. Most parts of Nevada receive scarce precipitation during the year. The most rain that falls in the state falls on the east and northeast slopes of the Sierra Nevada. The average annual rainfall per year is about 7 inches, 180 millimeters. The wettest parts get around 40 inches, 1,000 millimeters. Nevada's highest recorded temperature is 125 F50 Celsius at Laughlin on June 29, 1994, and the lowest recorded temperature is 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 46 C at San Jacinto on January 8. Nevada's 125 F50 Celsius reading is the third highest statewide record high temperature of a U.S. state, just behind Arizona's 128 F53 C reading and California's 130 for F50 counties. Further information. List of counties in Nevada. Las Vegas Strip looking south. Carson City. Mint in Carson City. Carson City is an independent city and the capital of Nevada. Nevada is divided into political jurisdictions designated as counties. Carson City is officially a consolidated municipality, meaning it legally functions as both a city and a county. As of 1919, there were 17 counties in the state, ranging from 146 to 18,159 square miles, 380 to 47,030. Lake County, one of the original 9 counties formed in 1861, was renamed Root County in 1862. Part of the county became Lassen County, California, in 1864, resolving border uncertainty. In 1883, Washoe County annexed the portion that remained in Nevada. 43 in 1969, Ormsby County was dissolved and the consolidated municipality of Carson City was created by the legislature in its place, coterminous with the old boundaries of Ormsby County. Bullfrog County was formed in 1987 from part of Nye County. After the creation was declared unconstitutional, the county was abolished in 1989. 43 Humboldt County was designated as a county in 1856 by Utah Territorial Legislature and again in 1861 by the new Nevada Legislature. Clark County is the most populous county in Nevada, accounting for nearly 3/4 of its residents. Las Vegas, Nevada's most populous city, has been the county seat since the county was created in 1909 from a portion of Lincoln County, Nevada. Before that, it was a part of Arizona Territory. Clark County attracts numerous tourists. An estimated 44 million people visited Clark County in 2014. 40 for Washoe County is the second most populous county of Nevada. Its county seat is Reno. Washoe County includes the Reno-Sparks metropolitan area. Lyon County is the third most populous county. It was one of the 9 original counties created in 1861. It was named after Nathaniel Lyon, the first Union general to be killed in the Civil War. Its current county seat is Urington. Its first county seat was established at Dayton on November 29, 1861. 45. Wilderness. Further information. List of wilderness areas in Nevada. There are 68 designated wilderness areas in Nevada, protecting some 6,579,014 acres to 1,662. 433 hectares under the jurisdiction of the National Park Service, U.S. Forest Service, and Bureau of Land Management. 48 wilderness, or wildlands usually in the plural, are Earth's natural environments that have not been significantly modified by human activity, or any non-urbanized land not under extensive agricultural cultivation. 1-2. The term has traditionally referred to terrestrial environments, though growing attention is being placed on marine wilderness. Recent maps of Wilderness 3 suggest it covers roughly 1/4 of Earth's terrestrial surface, but is being rapidly degraded by human activity. 4. Even less wilderness remains in the ocean, with only 13.2% free from intense human activity. 5. Some governments establish protection for wilderness areas by law to not only preserve what already exists, but also to promote and advance a natural expression and development. These can be set up in preserves, conservation preserves, national forests, national parks, and even in urban areas along rivers, gulches, or otherwise undeveloped areas. Often these areas are considered important for the survival of certain species, biodiversity, ecological studies, conservation, solitude, and recreation. 6. They may also preserve historic genetic traits and provide habitat for wild flora and fauna that may be difficult to recreate in zoos, arboretums, or laboratories. The National Park Service, NPS, is an agency of the United States federal government within the U.S. Department of the Interior. The service manages all national parks, most national monuments, and other natural, historical, and recreational properties with various title designations. 3-4. The United States Congress created the agency on August 25, 1916, through the National Park Service Organic Act. 5. Its headquarters is in Washington, D.C., within the main headquarters of the Department of the Interior. The NPS employs about 20,000 people in 433 units, covering over 85 million acres, 0.3 million square kilometers, in all 50 states, the District of Columbia, and U.S. territories. 164. In 2019, the service had more than 279,000 volunteers. 1. The agency is charged with preserving the ecological and historical integrity of the places entrusted to its management and with making them available for public use and enjoyment. The Bureau of Land Management, BLM, is an agency within the United States Department of the Interior responsible for administering U.S. federal lands. Headquartered in Washington, D.C., the BLM oversees more than 247.3 million acres, 1,001,000 square kilometers of land, or 1/8 of the United States' total land mass. 3. The Bureau was created by Congress during the presidency of Harry S. Truman in 1946 by combining two existing agencies, the United States General Land Office and the Grazing Service. 4. The agency manages the federal government's nearly 700 million acres to 1,800,000 square kilometers of subsurface mineral estate located beneath federal, state, and private lands severed from their surface rights by the Homestead Act of 1862. For most, BLM public lands are located in these 12 western states: Alaska, Arizona, California, Colorado, Idaho, Montana, Nevada, New Mexico, Oregon, Utah, Washington, and Wyoming. 5. The mission of the BLM is to sustain the health, diversity, and productivity of the public lands for the use and enjoyment of present and future generations. 6. Originally, BLM holdings were described as land nobody wanted because homesteaders had passed them by. 5. All the same, ranchers hold nearly 18,000 permits and leases for livestock grazing on 155 million acres, 630,000 square kilometers of BLM public lands. 7. The agency manages 221 wilderness areas, 29 national monuments, and some 636 other protected areas as part of the National Conservation Lands, formerly known as the National Landscape Conservation System. 1,000, totaling about 36 million acres, 150,000 square kilometers. 8. In addition, the National Conservation Lands include nearly 2,400 miles of wild and scenic rivers, 9, and nearly 6,000 miles of national scenic and historic trails. 10. There are more than 63,000 oil and gas wells on BLM public lands. Total energy leases generated approximately $5.4 billion in 2013, an amount divided among the Treasury, the states, and Native American groups. 11, 12, 13. State parks. Further information. List of Nevada state parks. Nevada state parks comprise protected areas managed by the state of Nevada, including state parks, state historic sites, and state recreation areas. There are 24 state park units, including Van Sickle Bay State Park, which opened in July 2011 and is operated in partnership with the adjacent state of California. 49 state parks are parks or other protected areas managed at the subnational level within those nations which use state as a political subdivision. State parks are typically established by a state to preserve a location on account of its natural beauty, historic interest, or recreational potential. There are state parks under the administration of the government of each U.S. state, some of them Mexican states, and in Brazil. The term is also used in the Australian states of Victoria and New South Wales. 1. The equivalent term used in Canada, Argentina, South Africa, and Belgium is provincial park. Similar systems of local government-maintained parks exist in other countries, but the terminology varies. State parks are thus similar to national parks, but under state rather than federal administration. Similarly, local government entities below state level may maintain parks, e.g., regional parks or county parks. In general, state parks are smaller than national parks, with a few exceptions such as Anza Borrego Desert State Park in California and Woottikchik State Park in Alaska, the largest state park in the United States. In addition to preserving natural landscapes and providing recreational opportunities, many state parks also serve as important educational resources. They often offer guided tours, interpretive programs, and exhibits that help visitors learn about the local flora, fauna, geology, and cultural history of the area. These programs are designed not only to enhance the visitor experience, but also to promote conservation awareness and encourage responsible enjoyment of natural resources. To Van Sickle Bay State Park is a public recreation area straddling the border of California and Nevada, western United States, that overlooks Lake Tahoe, shared by both states, and preserves the memory of Henry Van Sickle. a key member in the founding of the town of Genoa, Nevada, and the surrounding area. The state park features trails for hiking, mountain biking, and horseback riding. It is managed by the Nevada Division of State Parks in partnership with the California Tahoe Conservancy. 2. Population. The United States Census Bureau determined Nevada had a population of 3,104,614 at the 2020 U.S. Census. In 2022, the estimated population of Nevada was 3,177,772, an increase of 73,158 residents to 0.36% since the 2020 census. 51. Nevada had the highest percentage growth in population from 2017 to 2018. At the 2020 census, 6.0% of the state's population were reported as under 5, 20.5% were under 18, and 16.1% were 65 or older. Females made up about 49.8% of the population. 19.1% of the population was reported as foreign-born. Since the 2020 census, the population of Nevada had a natural increase of 2,374, the net difference between 42,076 births and 39,700 deaths, and an increase due to net migration of 36,605, of which 34,280 was due to domestic and 2,325 was due to international migration. 52. The center of population of Nevada is in southern Nye County. 53. In this county, the unincorporated town of Pahrump, 60 miles 97 kilometers west of Las Vegas on the California state line, has grown very rapidly from 1980 to 2020. At the 2020 census, the town had 44,738 residents. 54. Las Vegas grew from a gulch of 100 people in 1900 to 10,000 by 1950 to 100,000 by 1970, and was America's fastest growing city and metropolitan area from 1960 to 2000. From about the 1940s until 2003, Nevada was the fastest growing state in the U.S. percentage-wise. Between 1990 and 2000, Nevada's population increased by 66%, while the nation's population increased by 13%. More than two-thirds of the population live in Clark County, which is coextensive with the Las Vegas metropolitan area. Thus, in terms of population, Nevada is one of the most centralized states in the nation. Henderson and North Las Vegas are among the top 20 fastest-growing U.S. cities with populations over 100,000. The rural community of Mesquite, 65 miles 105 kilometers northeast of Las Vegas, was an example of micropolitan growth in the 1990s and 2000s. Other desert towns like Indian Springs and Searchlight on the outskirts of Las Vegas have seen some growth as well. Since 1950, the rate of population born in Nevada has never peaked above 27%, the lowest rate of all states. In 2012, only 25% of Nevadans were born in Nevada, 55 according to HUD's 2022 Annual Homeless Assessment Report. There were an estimated 7,618 homeless people in Nevada. 50 according to the 2022 American Communities Survey. 30.3% of Nevada's population were of Hispanic or Latino origin of any race. Mexican 22%, Cuban 1.5%, Salvadoran 1.5%, Puerto Rican 1%, and other Hispanic or Latino origin for 0.3%. The largest European ancestry groups were German 8.9%, English 8.1%, Irish 7.2%, and Italian for 0.8%. 63. The largest Asian ancestry groups in the state were Filipino 6.4% and Chinese 1.9%. 60 for map of counties in Nevada by racial plurality, per the 2020 Census Legend. In 1980, non-Hispanic whites made up 83.2% of the state's population. 65, as of 2011, 63.6% of Nevada's population younger than age 1 were minorities. 69. Las Vegas is a majority-minority city. According to the United States Census Bureau estimates, as of July 1, 2018, non-Hispanic whites made up 48.7% of Nevada's population. 70 in Douglas, Mineral, and Pershing counties. A plurality of residents are of Mexican ancestry. In Nye County and Humboldt County, residents are mostly of German ancestry. Washoe County has many Irish Americans. Americans of English descent form pluralities in Lincoln County, Churchill County, Lyon County, White Pine County, and Eureka County. Asian Americans have lived in the state since at least the 1850s, when the California gold rush brought thousands of Chinese miners to Washoe County. They were followed by a few hundred Japanese farmworkers in the late 19th century. By the late 20th century, many immigrants from China, Japan, Korea, the Philippines, Bangladesh, India, and Vietnam came to the Las Vegas metropolitan area. The city now has a significant Asian American community, with a mostly Chinese and Taiwanese area known as Chinatown, west of I-15 on Spring Mountain Road. Filipino Americans form the largest Asian American group in the state, with a population of more than 200 to 1,000. They comprise 59.8% of the Asian American population in Nevada and constitute about 6.4% of the entire state's population. 71 mining booms drew many Greek and Eastern European immigrants to Nevada. 72. In the early 20th century, Greeks, Slavs, Danes, Japanese, Italians, and Basques poured into Nevada. 73. Chileans were found in the state as early as 1870. 74. During the mid-1800s, a significant number of European immigrants, mainly from Ireland, England, and Germany, arrived in the state with the intention of capitalizing on the thriving mining sector in the region. 75 Native American tribes in Nevada are the Northern and Southern Paiute, Western Shoshone, Gashute, Hualapai, Washoe, and Ute tribes. 76. Whites remain the largest racial or ethnic group in Nevada. 77 Hispanics are the fastest growing ethnic group in Nevada. 78. There is a growing Mexican and Central American population in Nevada. Many of Nevada's Latino immigrants are from Mexico, Guatemala, and El Salvador. 79. Nevada also has a growing multiracial population. 80 The top countries of origin for immigrants in Nevada were Mexico 39.5% of immigrants, the Philippines 14.3%, El Salvador 5.2%, China 3.1%, and Cuba 3%. 81. The majority of people in Nevada are of white European ancestry. A small portion trace their ancestry to Basque people recruited as sheepherders. Hispanics in Nevada are mainly of Mexican and Cuban heritage. Latinos comprise about 1/4 of Nevada's residents and are concentrated in the southeast in Nevada. African Americans live mainly in the Las Vegas and Reno area and constitute less than 1/10 of the population. Native Americans of the Paiute, Shoshone, and Washoe tribes live on several reservations in the state and make up a small fraction of Nevada's population. 80 to the most common ancestries in Nevada include Mexican, German, Irish, English, Italian, and Asian. 83 Nevada is the third most diverse state in the country, behind only Hawaii and California. 80 for 85. Religion religious self-identification. Per Public Religion Research Institute's 2022 American Values Survey, 98 unaffiliated 40%. Protestantism 25%, Catholicism 21%, Mormonism 5%, New Age 4%, Jehovah's Witnesses 2%, Judaism 2%, Hinduism 1%. Church attendance in Nevada is among the lowest of all U.S. states. In 18, Protestant 35%, irreligious 28%, Roman Catholic 25%, Latter-day Saints 4%, Jewish 2%, Hindu less than 1%, Buddhist 0.5%, and Muslim around 0.2%. Parts of Nevada in the eastern parts of the state are situated in the Mormon Corridor. The largest denominations by number of adherents in 2010 were the Roman Catholic Church with 451,070, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints with 175,149, and the Southern Baptist Convention with 45,535, Buddhist congregations 14,727, Baha'i Faith 1,723, and Muslim 1,702. Economy. See also Nevada locations by per capita income. In Nevada, $250,000, with sign promoting it as the city of entertainment. Lake Tahoe on the Nevada-California border. Gold strike post bets mine in the Carlin Trend, the largest Carlin-type deposit in the world, containing more than 35 million troy ounces, 1,100 t gold, 108 cattle near the Brno River in Elko County. Ranching in Washoe County. The economy of Nevada is tied to tourism, especially entertainment and gambling related, mining, and cattle ranching. Nevada's industrial outputs are tourism, entertainment, mining, machinery, printing and publishing, food processing, and electric equipment. The Bureau of Economic Analysis 109-110 estimates Nevada's total state product in 2018 was $170 billion. 111. The state's per capita personal income in 2020 was $53,635, ranking 31st in the nation. 112. Nevada's state debt in 2012 was calculated to be $7.5 billion, or $3,100 per taxpayer. 113. As of May 2021, the state's unemployment rate was 7.8%. 114. Further information. Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance. Maine articles. Gold mining in Nevada and silver mining in Nevadine portions of the state outside of the Las Vegas and Reno metropolitan areas. Mining plays a major economic role. By value, gold is by far the most important mineral mined. In 2022, for 1,040,000 troy ounces, 126 t of gold worth $7.3 billion were mined in Nevada, and the state accounted for 4% of world gold production. Other minerals mined in Nevada include construction aggregates, copper, gypsum, diatomite, and lithium. 115. 116. Despite its rich deposits, the cost of mining in Nevada is generally high, and output is very sensitive to world commodity prices. Cattle ranching. Cattle ranching is a major economic activity in rural Nevada. 117. Nevada's agricultural outputs are cattle, hay, alfalfa, dairy products, onions, and potatoes. In 2020, there were an estimated 438,511 head of cattle and 71,699 head of sheep in Nevada. 118. Most of these animals forage on rangeland in the summer, with supplemental feed in the winter. Calves are generally shipped to out-of-state feedlots in the fall to be fattened for the market. Over 90% of Nevada's 653,891 acres, 264,620 hectares of cropland is used to grow hay, mostly alfalfa, for livestock feed. 118. Transportation. Stay Route Shieldu S Route 50. Also known as the loneliest road in America, Amtrak's California Zephyr train uses the Union Pacific's original transcontinental railroad line in daily service from Chicago to Emeryville, California, serving Elko, Winnemucca, and Reno. Las Vegas has had no passenger train service since Amtrak's Desert Wind was discontinued in 1997. Amtrak Thruway buses provide connecting service from Las Vegas to trains at Needles, California, Los Angeles, and Bakersfield, California, and from State Line, Nevada, to Sacramento, California. There have been a number of proposals to reintroduce service to either Los Angeles or Southern California, with the privately run Brightline West having begun construction in 2024. The Union Pacific Railroad has some railroads in the north and south of Nevada. Greyhound lines provide some bus service to the state. Interstate 15 I-15 passes through the southern tip of the state, serving Las Vegas and other communities. I-215 and I-515 also serve the Las Vegas metropolitan area. I-80 crosses through the northern part of Nevada, roughly following the path of the Humboldt River from Utah in the east and the Truckee River westward through Reno into California. It has a spur route, I-580. Nevada also is served by several U.S. highways, US 6, US 50, US 93, US 95, and US. There are also 189 Nevada state routes. Many of Nevada's counties have a system of county routes as well, though many are not signed or paved in rural areas. Nevada is one of a few states in the U.S. that do not have a continuous interstate highway linking it to major population centers. The road connection between the Las Vegas and Reno areas is a combination of several different interstate and U.S. highways. The Interstate 11 proposed routing may eventually remedy this. 120, the state is one of just a few in the country to allow semi-trailer trucks with 3 trailers, what might be called a road train in Australia. But American versions are usually smaller, in part because they must ascend and descend some fairly steep mountain passes. RTC Transit is the public transit system in the Las Vegas metropolitan area. The agency is the largest transit agency in the state and operates a network of bus service across the Las Vegas Valley, including the use of the DUs, double-decker buses, on the Las Vegas Strip and several outlying routes. RTC Ride operates a system of local transit bus service throughout the Reno-Sparks metropolitan area. Other transit systems in the state include Carson City's JAC. Most other counties in the state do not have public transportation at all. Additionally, a 4-mile 6.4 kilometers monorail system provides public transportation in the Las Vegas area. The Las Vegas monorail line services several casino properties and the Las Vegas Convention Center on the east side of the Las Vegas Strip, running near Paradise Road, with a possible future extension to Harry Reid International Airport. Several hotels also run their own monorail lines between each other, which are typically several blocks in length. Harry Reid International Airport in Las Vegas is the busiest airport serving Nevada. The Reno Tahoe International Airport, formerly known as the Reno Cannon International Airport, is the other major airport in the state. Energizy Al's list of power stations in Nevada has had a thriving solar energy sector. An independent study in 2013 concluded that solar users created a $36 million net benefit. However, in December 2015, the Public Utility Commission let the state's only power company, NV Energy, charge higher rates and fees to solar panel users, leading to an immediate collapse of rooftop solar panel use. 121 in December 1987. Congress amended the Nuclear Waste Policy Act to designate Yucca Mountain Nuclear Waste Repository as the only site to be characterized as a permanent repository for all of the nation's highly radioactive waste. 120 to Solar Power Plants Main article. List of power stations in Nevada section Solar Photovoltaic 2017 Electricity Generation in Nevada by source. The number and size of photovoltaic power stations in Nevada has been growing rapidly since 2010. As of 2018, the largest is the 552 megawatts Copper Mountain Solar Facility near Boulder City, which is a group of co-located units, each sized up to 250 megawatts. 2, 3, 4, 5 another 250 megawatts unit has been approved for construction, which could make it the largest solar facility in the United States. 6, 7. Earlier notable solar facilities in the state include the 14.2 megawatt MW Peak, 140-acre Nellis Solar Power Plant, and the 64 megawatts, 400-acre concentrating solar thermal power plant Nevada Solar One, which both began operation in 2007. Nevada has also been a leader in low-cost solar electricity generation, establishing several milestones. The Nellis plant was able to provide Nellis Air Force Base with electricity for only 2.2 cents kWh compared to the 9 cents they were paying Nevada Power by selling renewable energy credits RECs. 8. In 2015, the 100 megawatts Playa Solar to project to be constructed by First Solar with a 20-year power purchase agreement with NV Energy, was proposed for $0.0378 per kilowatt-hour. This was below the lowest price of $0.046 available the previous year from the 100 megawatts Boulder solar plant. 9. In 2018, the 300 megawatt MWAC Eagle Shadow Mountain Solar Farm was approved for construction with flat rate of $0.0376 per kilowatt-hour throughout its 25-year PPA term, which could establish a new record. 10, 11, 12 solar photovoltaic and/or thermal power has also been proposed to augment some geothermal power plants in the region which struggle to meet demand during midday peak hours. Due to their higher bottom of the thermodynamic cycle, since the solar plants will peak at that time. 13, 14, 15, as of February 2022, there are 26 large proposed projects in Nevada, totaling over 21 gigawatts of capacity, or 5 times the state's existing. These projects also include more than 17 gigawatts of energy storage. 16.5 of these were proposed in Nye County, which would be enabled by 2 new transmission lines, though some are close to Death Valley National Park. 17, NV Energy is a public utility which generates, transmits, and distributes electric service in northern and southern Nevada, including the Las Vegas Valley, and provides natural gas service in the Reno-Sparks metropolitan area of northern Nevada. Based in Las Vegas, Nevada, it serves about 1.3 million customers and over 40 million tourists annually. 7-8 Mid-American Energy Holdings Company, now Berkshire Hathaway Energy, a subsidiary of Berkshire Hathaway, acquired NV Energy in a transaction completed on December 19, 2013. 9/10, when the merger was announced, the company stated that NV Energy would continue to be based in Las Vegas under its then current name 1112. Prior to the acquisition by Mid-American, the company's common stock was listed on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol NVE. 13. Affordable housing. In 2018, the National Low-Income Housing Coalition calculated the discrepancy between available affordable housing units and renters who earn below the poverty line. In Nevada, only 15 affordable rental homes are available per 100 extremely low-income Eli households. 123. The shortage extended to a deficit in supply of 71,358 affordable rental homes. This was the largest discrepancy of any state. The most notable catalyst for this shortage was the Great Recession and housing crisis of 2007 and 2008. Since then, housing prices have increased while demand has increased, and supply has struggled to match the increase in demand. In addition, low-income service workers were slowly being pushed out by an influx of tech professionals. In Nevada, there is essentially a standard of 6-figure income to affordably rent a single-family home. 124. Considering the average salary in Nevada, $54,842 per year, this standard is on average unaffordable. 125. The disproportionate cost of housing compared to average salary has led to 112,872 renters to be paying more than half of their yearly income towards housing. 126. The definition of an affordable home is one that a household can obtain for 30% or less of its annual income. So, there is clearly a long way to go in order to close the gap between housing prices and relative income in the state. Renters are looking for solutions to still be able to live in the state in a way that their income can support. As a result, single adults are being forced to split rent with other renters or move residences to farther outside metro areas. One solution being offered is to increase the supply of higher income positions within the state to make things more affordable. However, this would require Nevadans to retrain in new jobs or careers. Law and Government article. Government of Nevada State Legislative Building in Carson City. Under the Constitution of the State of Nevada, the powers of the Nevada government are divided among 3 separate departments: the executive, consisting of the governor of Nevada and their cabinet, along with the other elected constitutional officers, the legislative consisting of the Nevada legislature, which includes the Assembly and the Senate, and the judicial consisting of the Supreme Court of Nevada and lower courts. The governor is the chief magistrate of Nevada. 131. The head of the executive department of the state's government. 131. And the commander-in-chief of the state's military forces. 132. The current governor is Joe Lombardo, a Republican. The executive branch also consists of an independently elected lieutenant governor, secretary of state, state treasurer, state controller, and attorney general, who function as a check and balance on the power of the governor. 133. The Nevada legislature is a bicameral body divided into an assembly and senate. Members of the assembly serve 2 years, and members of the Senate serve 4 years. Both houses of the Nevada legislature enacted term limits starting in 2010, with senators and assemblymen, women who are limited to a maximum of 12 years in each body by appointment or election, which is a lifetime limit, a provision of the Constitution which was upheld by the Supreme Court of Nevada in a unanimous decision. Each session of the legislature meets for a constitutionally mandated 120 days in every odd-numbered year, or longer if the governor calls a special session. On December 18, 2018, Nevada became the first in the United States with a female majority in its legislature. Women hold 9 of the 21 seats in the Nevada Senate and 23 of the 42 seats in the Nevada Assembly. 130. For the Supreme Court of Nevada is the state Supreme Court and the head of the Nevada judiciary. Original jurisdiction is divided between the district courts with general jurisdiction and justice courts and municipal courts, both of limited jurisdiction. Appeals from district courts are made directly to the Nevada Supreme Court, which under a deflective model of jurisdiction has the discretion to send cases to the Court of Appeals for final resolution. 135. Incorporated towns in Nevada, known as cities, are given the authority to legislate anything not prohibited by law. A recent movement has begun to permit home rule to incorporate Nevada cities to give them more flexibility and fewer restrictions from the legislature. Town boards for unincorporated towns are limited local governments created by either the local county commission or by referendum, and form a purely advisory role and in no way diminish the responsibilities of the county commission that creates them. Law of Courthouse of the Supreme Court of Nevada. In 1900, Nevada's population was the smallest of all states and was shrinking as the difficulties of living in a barren desert began to outweigh the lure of silver for many early settlers. Historian Lawrence Friedman has explained what happened next. Nevada, in a burst of ingenuity, built an economy by exploiting its sovereignty. Its strategy was to legalize all sorts of things that were illegal in California. After the easy divorce came easy marriage and casino gaming. Even prostitution is legal in Nevada, in any county that decides to allow it. Quite a few of them do. 136. With the advent of air conditioning for summertime use and southern Nevada's mild winters, the fortunes of the state began to turn around, as it did for Arizona, making these two states the fastest growing in the Union. Prostitutions also. Prostitution in Nevada is the only state where prostitution is legal, in a licensed brothel in a county which has specifically voted to permit it. It is illegal in larger jurisdictions such as Clark County, which contains Las Vegas, Washoe County, which contains Reno, and the independent city of Carson City. Divorce in Nevada's early reputation as a divorce haven rose from the fact that before the no-fault divorce revolution in the 1970s, divorces were difficult to obtain in the United States, already having legalized gambling and prostitution. Nevada continued the trend of boosting its profile by adopting one of the most liberal divorce statutes in the nation. This resulted in Williams v. North Carolina, 1942, 317 U.S. 287, 1942, in which the U.S. Supreme Court ruled North Carolina had to give full faith and credit to a Nevada divorce. The court modified its decision in Williams v. North Carolina, 1945, 325 U.S. 226, 1945, by holding a state need not recognize a Nevada divorce unless one of the parties was domiciled there at the T. The divorce was granted, and the forum state was entitled to make its own determination. As of 2009, Nevada's divorce rate was above the national average. 137. Texas Nevada's tax laws are intended to draw new residents and businesses to the state. Nevada has no personal income tax or corporate income tax. 138. Since Nevada does not collect income data, it cannot share such information with the federal government, the IRS. 139. The state sales tax, similar to VAT or GST, in Nevada is variable depending upon the county. The statewide tax rate is 6.85%, with 5 counties: Elko, Esmeralda, Eureka, Humboldt, and Mineral charging this amount. Counties may impose additional rates via voter approval or through approval of the state legislature. Therefore, the applicable sales tax varies by county from 6.85% to 8.375%. Clark County. Clark County, which includes Las Vegas, imposes for separate county option taxes in addition to the statewide rate: 0.25% for flood control, 0.50% for mass transit, 0.25% for infrastructure, and 0.25% for. In Washoe County, which includes Reno, the sales tax rate is 7.7 to 5% due to county option rates for flood control, the Retrick Train Trench Project, and mass transit, and an additional county rate approved under the Local Government Tax Act of 1991. 140. The minimum Nevada sales tax rate changed on July 1, 2009. 141. The lodging tax rate in unincorporated Clark County, which includes the Las Vegas Strip, is 12%. Within the boundaries of the cities of Las Vegas and Henderson, the lodging tax rate is 13%. Corporations such as Apple Inc. allegedly have set up investment companies and funds in Nevada to avoid paying taxes. 142. LGBT rights. Mine articles, Same-Sex Marriage in Nevada and LGBT Rights in Nevada, 2009. The Nevada legislature passed a bill creating a domestic partnership registry, which enables same-sex couples to enjoy the same rights as married couples. Due to the landmark decision in the case of Obergefell v. Hodges, 576 U.S. 644, 2015, same-sex marriage was outright legalized in the state. Incorporation of that provides a friendly environment for the formation of corporations, and many, especially California, businesses have incorporated in Nevada to take advantage of the benefits of the Nevada statute. Nevada corporations offer great flexibility to the board of directors and simplify or avoid many of the rules that are cumbersome to business managers in some other states. In addition, Nevada has no franchise tax, although it does require businesses to have a license for which the business has to pay the state. Financial institution simile. Many U.S. states have usury laws limiting the amount of interest a lender can charge, but federal law allows corporations to import these laws from their home state. Nevada has no cap on interest rates that may be agreed to in contracts. 143. Alcohol and other drugs. See also, alcohol laws of Nevada, and cannabis in Nevada has very liberal alcohol laws. Bars are permitted to remain open 24 hours with no last call. Liquor stores, convenience stores, and supermarkets may also sell alcohol 24 hours per day and may sell beer, wine, and spirits. It is notable for having the harshest penalties for drug offenders in the country. Nevada remains the only state to still use mandatory minimum sentencing guidelines for possession of drugs. 145. The Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, SAMHSA, reported in their Behavioral Health Barometer for Nevada, published in 2014, Changes to substance abuse patterns and addiction across the southwestern state. 146 between 2012 and 2013. Adolescents in Nevada abused illicit substances at a slightly higher percentage than nationally. 10.2% of Nevada's adolescents abused illicit drugs compared to 9.2% across the United States. Between 2009 and 2013, 11.7% of all adolescents in the state reported abusing illicit, intoxicating substances in the month prior to the survey. This represents 25,000 adolescents. Smoking. Nevada voters enacted a smoking ban, the Nevada Clean Indoor Air Act, in November 2006, which became effective on December 8, 2006. It outlaws smoking in most workplaces and public places. Smoking is permitted in bars, but only if the bar serves no food, or the bar is inside a larger casino. Smoking is also permitted in casinos, certain hotel rooms, tobacco shops, and brothels. 147. However, some businesses do not obey this law and the government tends not to enforce it. 148. In 2011, smoking restrictions in Nevada were relaxed for certain places, which allow only people 21 or older inside. State Politics Party registration by county in Nevada, February 2025. Republican is greater than or equal to 30%. Republican is greater than or equal to 40%. Republican is greater than or equal to 50%. Republican is greater than or equal to 60%. Unaffiliated is greater than or equal to 30%. Due to heavy growth in the southern portion of the state, there is a noticeable divide between the... Historically, northern Nevada has been very Republican. The more rural counties of the north are among the most conservative regions of the state. Carson City, the state's capital, is a Republican-leaning swing city. County. Washoe County, home to Reno, has historically been strongly Republican, but now has become a fairly balanced swing county, like the state as a whole. Clark County, home to Las Vegas, has been a stronghold for the Democratic Party since it was founded in 1909. Having voted Republican only 6 times and once for a third-party candidate, although in recent times becoming more competitive. Most notably in the 2020 for presidential election, where the Democratic Party's margin of victory was only 2.63 percentage points to Republicans. 153. Clark and Washoe counties have long dominated the state's politics. Between them, they cast 87% of Nevada's vote and elect a substantial majority of the state legislature. The last Republican to carry Clark County was George H.W. Bush in 1988, and the last Republican to carry Washoe County was George W. Bush in 2004. The great majority of the state's elected officials are from either Las Vegas or Reno. 154. Donald Trump was able to carry Nevada with a statewide majority in 2024, despite losing both Clark and Washoe. In 2014, Republican Adam Laxalt, despite losing both Clark and Washoe counties, was elected Attorney General. However, he had lost Clark County only by 5.6% and Washoe County by 1.4%, attributable to lower turnout in these counties. 155. National politics. Also, United States presidential elections in Nevada 2024 U.S. presidential election results by county in Nevada. Democratic Republican Nevada has been won by the winner of nearly every presidential election since its first in 1864, only being carried by the defeated candidate 8 times since statehood, most of which were before 1900. Since 1912, Nevada has been carried by the presidential victor, the most out of any state, 27 of 29 elections. The only exceptions being 1976, when it voted for Gerald Ford over Jimmy Carter, and 2016, when the state was carried by Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump. This gives the state status as a political bellwether. It was one of only 3 states won by John F. Kennedy in the American West in the election of 1960, albeit narrowly. 156. The state's U.S. senators are Democrats Catherine Cortez Masto and Jackie Rosen. The governorship is held by Joe Lombardo, a Republican. Elections Main article. Elections in Nevada is the only U.S. state to have a none of the above option available on its ballots. Officially called none of these candidates, the option was first added to the ballot in 1975 and is used in all statewide elections, including president, U.S. Senate, and all state constitutional positions. In the event none of these candidates receives a plurality of votes in the election, the candidate with the next highest total is elected. 157 in a 2020 study. Nevada was ranked as the 23rd on the Cost of Voting Index, which is a measure of the ease of voting across the United States. 158. Culture, entertainment, and tourism resort areas like Las Vegas, Reno, Lake Tahoe, and Laughlin attract visitors from around the nation and world. In fiscal year 2020 to Nevada casinos, not counting those with annual revenue under $1 million, brought in 10.7 billion United States dollars in gaining revenue and another 15.7 billion United States dollars in non-gaining revenue. 159. Nevada has by far the most hotel rooms per capita in the United States. According to the American Hotel and Lodging Association, there were 187,301 rooms in 580 for hotels of 15 or more rooms. The state is ranked just below California, Texas, Florida, and New York in the total number of rooms, but those states have much larger populations. Nevada has one hotel room for every 14 residents, far above the national average of one hotel room per 67 residents. 160. Prostitution is legal in parts of Nevada in licensed brothels, but only counties with populations under 400,000 have the option to legalize it. Although prostitution is not a major part of the Nevada economy, employing roughly 300 women as independent contractors, it is a very visible endeavor. Of the 14 counties permitted to legalize prostitution under state law, 8 have chosen to legalize brothels. State law prohibits prostitution in Clark County, which contains Las Vegas, and Washoe County, which contains Reno. However, prostitution is legal in Story County, which is part of the Reno-Sparks metropolitan area. Sports. See also Las Vegas Section Sports, sports in the Las Vegas metropolitan area, Reno, Nevada Section Sports, and Henderson, Nevada Section Sports. The Las Vegas Valley is home to the Vegas Golden Knights of the National Hockey League, who began to play in the 2017-18 NHL season at T-Mobile Arena on the Las Vegas Strip in Paradise. The Las Vegas Raiders of the National Football League, who began play at Allegiant Stadium in Paradise in 2020 after moving from Oakland, California. And the Las Vegas Aces of the WNBA, who began playing in 2018 at Mandalay Bay Event Center after locating from the Oakland Athletics of Major League Baseball plan to move to Las Vegas by 2027. 161. 162. Nevada takes pride in college sports, most notably its college football. College teams in the state include the Nevada Wolfpack, representing the University of Nevada, Reno, and the UNLV Rebels, representing the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, both in the Mountain West Conference MW. UNLV is most remembered for its men's basketball program, which experienced its height of supremacy in the late 1980s and early 1990s. Coached by Jerry Tarkanian, the Runnin' Rebels became one of the most elite programs in the country. In 1990, UNLV won the Men's Division I championship by defeating Duke 103-73, which set tournament records for most points scored by a team and largest margin of victory in the national title game. In 1991, UNLV finished the regular season undefeated, a feat that would not be matched in Division I men's basketball for more than 20 years. Forward Larry Johnson won several awards, including the Naismith Award. UNLV reached the final for yet again, but lost their national semifinal against Duke 79-77. The Runnin' Rebels were the Associated Press preseason no. One back-to-back one, 98990, 1990-91. North Carolina is the only other team to accomplish that 2007-8, 2008-9. The state's involvement in major college sports is not limited to its local schools. In the 21st century, the Las Vegas area has become a significant regional center for college basketball conference tournaments. The MW, West Coast Conference, and Western Athletic Conference all hold their men's and women's tournaments in the area, and the Pac-12 holds its men's tournament there as well. The Big Sky Conference, after decades of holding its men's and women's conference tournaments at campus sites, began holding both tournaments in Reno in 2016. Las Vegas has hosted several professional boxing matches, most recently at the MGM Grand Garden Arena with bouts such as Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield versus Mike Tyson 2, Oscar de la Hoya versus Floyd Mayweather Jr., and Oscar de la Hoya versus Manny Pacquiao, and at the newer T-Mobile Arena with Canelo Alvarez versus Amir Khan, along with significant rises in popularity in mixed martial arts MMA. A number of fight leagues, such as the UFC, have taken interest in Las Vegas as a primary event location due to the number of suite will host venues. The Mandalay Bay Events Center and MGM Grand Garden Arena are among some of the more popular venues for fighting events such as MMA and have hosted several UFC and other MMA title fights. The city has held the most UFC events with 86 events. The state is also home to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, which hosts NASCAR's Pennzoil 400 and South Point 400. To venues in the immediate Las Vegas area host major annual events in rodeo. The Thomas and Mack Center, built for UNLV men's basketball, hosts the National Finals Rodeo. The PBR World Finals, operated by the bull riding only professional bull riders, was also held at the Thomas and Mack Center before moving to T-Mobile Arena in 2016. The state is also home to famous tennis player Andre Agassi and current baseball superstar Bryce Harper.